Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, my name is Kevin Kome, and I'm the IT director of IGATI Mission. And I'm so happy to see you guys. And I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce our chair. Welcome, Mr. Alfred Gitonga. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. My name is Alfred Gitonga again, as I said, and I'm the lead missioner for IGATI, and I'm a social entrepreneur. And as we begin our mission, which began allowed the 1st of March 2023, this is our first day we are having our conference, and we are trying to explain to the community that we serve around Meru what we do and why are we doing it, and what is our motive finally. And to be able to unveil what we are proposing is a new school of thought called social entrepreneurship. What is happening around the world right now is a kind of a very uneconomic times for our people, the communities allowed. And especially in our country, Kenya, you find that a lot of economic activities that we do have not been able to sustain our livelihood. That's why you find a lot of many homes have low disposable income and a lot of unemployment in our community. And this happening in our social society, you'll find it affecting each and every one of us. The moment you are surrounded with a lot of idle people who are unemployed, definitely that affects our lives, even if you are employed. What that translates to, it translates when we have 70%, more than 70% of our people in informal sector. And the informal sector is not doing very well. That means that percent that remains employed carries the burden of the remaining 70% in form of supporting them infrastructure. I'll give you an example. If you're employed, the salary that you earn is the one that is taxed. The items you spend your money on, there are tax on it. And someone who is idle at home, that is not doing earning any income, he doesn't pay any tax, he doesn't consume. So finally, you end up carrying the burden of the person that is not working. How can you be able to reduce our burden in terms of economics, in terms of social? We can only achieve it from our thought. We can achieve it as one way we call social entrepreneurship. What is social entrepreneurship? Social entrepreneurship is where you organize communities to engage in activities, economic activities, that are driven by the desires of their own heart, by their own intellect, and their own handwork. And when you talk of social entrepreneurship, it means duplicating each and every member of the community to become an entrepreneur. And we have members of community who are entrepreneurs. They are not like normal business people. They are the people who create. They are able to create end-to-end solutions that finally become businesses. And you look, for instance, countries like China, countries like America, any country that has been able to make any strides in socio-economic transformation, it has been built through entrepreneurship. And in Kenya, we have no exception. If you have to overcome the challenges that we are going through today of economics, it can only be achieved through social entrepreneurship, whereby we are able to sit down with our communities, be able to discuss what they can be able to do with the available resources they have. And as IGATI Mission, having an experience in entrepreneurship for over 24 years, we're able to know that we can be able to develop sustainable community business models that depends on the available resources. And we have looked into various sectors that we can be able to support to be able to create homegrown entrepreneurs. And one of the key areas that we are looking into is agriculture. Agriculture holds a lot of potential in our country because we have very fertile lands. We have resources that can be able to support agriculture and the market that can be able to take up our production. And for us to be able to innovate our agriculture, we need to look back after independence, what used to give us money. And the kind of activities that our forefathers did after independence. You can find that coffee sector was very organized. There was petroleum. Dairy sector was still doing well, although it has not thrived. But over the 30, 50 years after independence, you find that we have not been able to innovate further from where we left. Actually, it has progressed. And I think this is a time we wake up our mind and ask ourselves, if 50 years ago, our coffee sector was much more organized than it is today, our dairy sector was organized more than it is today, what went wrong? That now, these sectors that used to employ a lot of people are no longer working. Maybe the size of our land has been subdivided. Maybe technology has advanced. Maybe the dynamics in the market have changed. But at the end of the day, we find we need our agriculture thriving because the population has increased and social needs have also gone up. Lifestyles have changed, and we need to find how we can engage a lot of people who are unemployed in agriculture. So as IGATI, we have a number of projects that have begun in agriculture sector, but at an incubation stage. We have a number of projects that we have incubated, and in agriculture, we have started with herbs and spices. Herbs spices in places like Timau, they do very well, and we have started with the mint farming. We have a number of 20 farmers that are engaging this, and here at Sala Plaza, we have set up our business incubation center. We have incubated marketing companies that will be able to support these companies, these farmers that we're engaging to plant the meat into becoming entrepreneurs who are able to have their product produced in their farms, collected together in a pack house, branded, certified, and exported direct to the market that is needed. We're able to look for, identify those markets, and we have enough capacity to be able to support farmers. So we encourage more farmers to come in on board, to plant more of meat farmers so that we can enjoy what we call economies of scale. More importantly also, we have looked into rabbit keeping, dairy goat keeping, and all these projects have already begun. We have incubated them. And as we incubate them, we are learning how we can bring more of people from communities. So social entrepreneurship involves managing communities. We manage communities, we bring them together, but we work together with them from their own mind. For our social entrepreneurship to thrive, we are looking at our core pillars that we have researched and found out if they are well thought out and implemented, then social entrepreneurship can gain footing in the country and it can change more and more communities. One of the key pillars that we are focusing is spirituality. We believe that if we're able to tap the spirituality of our individual, then we're able to tap his potential. It is only through spirituality you can be able to unlock someone's full potential. And spirituality comes from understanding yourself in the image and likeness of God. Our spirituality that we teach our community is actually what we have been taught from our childhood, where we believe the Trinity of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. We exploit those ones to be able to build the spiritual capacity of individuals so that they can be able to understand themselves from a perspective of their Creator. Because entrepreneurs are creators. And for us to be able to emphasize people to create, they must think like they are God. Because their God is a creator. He created them and he continues to create new things. So if you're able to possess a good mind of your Creator, then you become creative. The other pillar that we are looking into for us to establish our social entrepreneurship footings is intellectual capacity of individual. We believe that each and every human being has brain, and for that matter, a super brain. So able to tap that brain, direct it to have an entrepreneurial perspective that they can be able to innovate. Because a mind that can innovate then can be able to transform the current situation that we have to a better one. We also look at what we call handwork. IGATI believes that we cannot achieve anything without handwork. If you work hand, then God says that you bless the work of our earns. And out of that, we're able to put our communities into these pillars of spirituality, intellectual capacity, and more so, hard work. With these pillars, we'll be able to focus and be able to develop projects that are well thought by the communities and us as the missionaries. And we'll be able to implement them. We are already starting to implement this project. And therefore, I believe as we begin our journey for social entrepreneurship, yes, we begin with humble beginnings. But as the time goes, we'll be able to get the footing the moment our projects start realizing profit. We are also looking at the area of small traders, value addition, and industrialization. To achieve this, we want to teach our communities not only to produce, but once they have been able to produce, on how to add value. Value is added when a product is able to be branded, done to the needs and the desires of the consumer, and be able to organize logistically, marketing, everything, satisfaction, until it's able to reach the final consumer. This, as you create now the value addition chain, that value chain that you create will be able to offer more jobs to our population. And as it offers these solutions of value addition, jobs creation will become paramount. And as we create this job, tutakubaliana, okay, I'm sorry. But this is the point. When we are able to teach our farmers, our community, to produce, to hand value, finally, we shall have more jobs, not only at the production value level, but also the value chain entirely. We talk about education. We support education that we have, the CBC curriculum, because it supports creativity and innovation of our children. IGATI Mission looks for how we can be able to mobilize resources to support our schools, and we have cases standing. We have started the Genia Secondary School, Timau Secondary School, whereby we are soliciting resources, and you can be able to see, other than to wait for the government to support these schools, there are so many other donors that are supporting us in the schools, and we're able to start implementing the CBC on time. As we proceed, we are also looking at the area of ecotourism. Ecotourism presents a big potential for job creation. Mount Kenya is in Meru County. And since independence, we have never had a club that is learning potters and tour guide in Mount Kenya from Meru. Yet the mountain is allowed here. IGATI Mission have been able to go to Solomon community, where we have one of the routes to Mount Kenya, organize that community, and we have been able so far to create more than 100 jobs, because the group has been engaged by social services, tours and potters club, and more so, it has been vetted and approved by Kenya Wildlife Service. From the tour guides and potters that have been recruited by this group come from the Solomon community, and it comes from Timau area. And us as IGATI, we have been able to organize for them. We have given them a free website. We have given a Facebook page where we support them to get tourism, tourists from abroad, and as they come, and as these tourists come, they are able to give jobs to these tour guides and potters. And they are starting to come. And very soon, we are starting the project to do with, we have 4 projects that we have: agriculture, we are looked into CBC, education curriculum, we have looked at industrialization, that is where value addition is, and ecotourism. With those 4 key areas that we are looking for, by the time we are able to exploit it, then we believe we will be starting solving some of socio-economic problems that we have. We are determined. About small traders also, at Sala Plaza 5th floor, where we sit, we have already 3 businesses that we have incubated. We have a boutique on the other side, we have a spa here, and we have a training that we have set here. The training that we are doing at Sala Plaza, it is practical. We are picking people from the ones that have been released from prison. We pick them, we train them on how they can be able to do their art and craft work. They are doing their weaving, they are doing their paintings. We train them, and the work they are doing, we are able to market them through internet and also through recommendation to various organizations and people. Therefore, the social entrepreneurship that we are focusing on is how is but at the end of the day, it and the two of yeah. Our social entrepreneurship, kila tuko area, ile tunasema about social entrepreneurship is that organization of the community. Because that is what has been lacking actually after the coffee sector went down. And you can see the areas that without this community organization, there will be no time our farmers will be able to reap from what they have worked for. Because any time they produce their product without an organized market, brokers come in. And once the brokers come in, they offer farmers whatever the price they want, because farmers don't have an option. So to avoid brokers exploiting our farmers, before we start any project, we are able to tell them, if you are planting, for instance, mint, this is the market for mint, and this is the quality that is being expected. But we are not encouraging even us as IGATI to sell for these farmers. We are setting community-based organization, which we train to do value addition. And the community-based organization employs members of the same community, so that they are custodian of the market of the project the community is undertaking. To be able to look at, for instance, ecotourism. Ecotourism is not an issue only getting the certification from Kenya Wildlife Service or forming the group. It also involves a place where you have consistency of customers coming in. And this, most of the customers are not from allowed. As much you also encourage local tourism. The people, because we want to say, as much you also create jobs through ecotourism, we hand the government foreign exchange. Because when tourists come into the country, they're able to leave foreign exchange here, and we're in short of dollars. But look at it. There are 35 unexploited sites in Mount Kenya. And until now, they have not been visited. Nobody is advertising them. Nobody is bothering to sell them to the world. And the world is looking for places where they can be able to visit. We have a lot of sites, just here in Meru. You have a lot of sites that can be able to attract tourism. If you organize our communities well, they will be able to employ their people who can be able to take of those sites. More so, they will be able to, we shall be able to bring the customers who are foreigners most likely, and they'll bring foreign exchange, and we'll be able to market Kenya better than we are doing right now. The socio-economic challenges that we are facing as a country requires an approach that has never been done before. Ladies and gentlemen, IGATI Mission stands to transform our community from the most lowest level, where we sit down, listen together, and adopt a project that can be able to transform their lives. Entrepreneurship involves looking aloud and checking the resources that are available that can be best utilized for the benefit of the people. We have so much potential in agriculture, so much potential. Our backbone of the economy is agriculture. And until we're able to innovate our agriculture, then we have an uphill task of creating jobs. We have an uphill task of balancing of trade, because we can only export from agriculture. The world awaits us. We need to see what the world is offering out there and what we can offer best, so that we can be able to create opportunities for ourselves. Therefore, IGATI comes as a solution to this, because we are founded on an experience of entrepreneurship. Remember, we believe with the experiences we have been able to gather in the field of entrepreneurship, we will be able to share with other members of the community as we have started. And I know, and I believe in my heart, as we progress every day, we'll be able to impact our communities better. We'll be able to impact them in a manner that it is going to be sustainable in the long run, because the project that we are introducing in our communities, the way we are organizing our communities, we'll be able to generate new idea, generate new ways of production, new ways of value addition, and more new ways of marketing what we produce and value. And if we safeguard these steps of entrepreneurship, then we can be able to assure our communities stable, also disposable income. We can be able to assure our community stable jobs, and we can ensure our communities improved quality of life. Since we began IGATI, actually, because we started IGATI around the 1st of March 2023, our first move was to visit various communities and villages. And our first stop is charity begins at home. Of course, we started in Timau, where I come from, and we have started we have started 3 projects in Timau. We have started rabbit keeping, we have started mint farming, and we have also started ecotourism project. And for ecotourism project, we have made a progress so far, because we have been able to organize the community and able to register ceremony, tour guides, and porters club. And upon registration of that club, we have been able to liaise with KWS and vetted their youth who are capable to serve in those areas. Out of that, we have been able to recruit them, and they are now working. IGATI is helping them, so they sit tourists from across the world so that they can visit Mount Kenya. And as they visit Mount Kenya, the benefits are immense. We are still growing the business. We are going to experience a lot of growth in terms of employment for the youth in ceremony. They'll be able to sell their accommodation. They are setting up a curio shop to be able to sell what they can be able to make with their hands, their craft. They'll be able to sell their tourism tourists that come in Mount Kenya. Mint farming, we have already 20 farmers doing that in Kiambogo, and also in Kididina, we have our farmers who are doing rabbit keeping. We also have a project of dairy goat keeping in Tigania, Moirankanga, with a community there. We are also having it in Tigania East and also in Igembe. And in Southimenti, you're also doing dairy project with the Southimenti Windows Association. And here in Northimenti, Merutown, we are doing a business incubation center at Sala Plaza. This one by able to attract entrepreneurs who want to grow with us, as we're also growing our mission. And we incubate them for 2 years, whereby we provide them with land for 2 years. We also do give them training. We support them with internet to market their product. We provide them with skills to run their businesses. And more so, we're able to connect them with other relevant stakeholders that support entrepreneurship. So far, with 3 months old, we're able to witness a lot of progress. And we are very, very happy to report these ones at a very young stage of our mission. So as we grow and also get footing in this sector of social entrepreneurship, as we introduce a completely new social thinking, we hope our people will be able to adopt this. And as they adopt social entrepreneurship, then we can anticipate for a better society and a better tomorrow. Thank you. To most of entrepreneurs in the world, they will tell you there is no country that can progress with the production of another country. And in Kenya, when you start trading, when our businessmen, 80% of what they trade with are foreign product and services. Because you can check, even the biggest companies that we have today in the internet services provision, they are foreigners. They are not local. You foresee the product that we have in our houses, they are not Kenyan. You'll find that less of and even the low materials that we are using in our factories to produce, even if the production is based in Kenya, most of the raw materials are important. And one you'll be able to analyze that, you'll be able to understand why we are in this situation that we are. We are importing more than we are exporting. And how can we be able to improve then our exports? Kenya is not an industrial country. Kenya is an agricultural country. And where are our farms? Not in towns, not in our cities. Our farms are just in the rural areas. So we encourage people to start thinking how they can be able to entrepreneur their villages. And once they are able to think how to entrepreneur their villages, they will be in a position to influence their leaders to follow them. Because our leaders have been able to, from my experiences, what our communities do to our elected leaders, we invite them to Harambes for churches, funerals, and other social gatherings. But we have never invited our leaders to join us on our project that we have initiated that can transform us socially and economically. For instance, if a project in Tigania East, where we have started dairy goat farming, they're able to start this project and invite their local area of parliament or their governor. They will be able to be in a position to influence the governor to invest in that dairy goat project, because they believe this is a project that can be able to do them, help them. But this project to start not only making sense to the leaders, but also to the donors. The moment the community is able to innovate and create itself to produce a sustainable goat dairy project, whereby you have a process of selecting the best breed, the best practices of dairy goat keeping, the best practices of value addition for dairy goat milk, and the best methods that are sustainable to market the same. Then, resources to be able to sustain this project, resources to be able to complete the project will be available. There are so many people around the world that are ready to support such kind of project. But until they are able to demonstrate they are sustainable and profitable, I don't think you'll be able to attract. And that is why IGATI comes in. Because of the experiences that we have in entrepreneurship, then we'll be able to support our communities and impact them with the knowledge of entrepreneurship, whereby they can be able to create projects that are profitable and are sustainable. Because that is the biggest challenges we have with our economic activities that we do today. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's important we welcome this idea of social entrepreneurship. Because by welcoming it and embracing it, we are embracing a new world order, whereby we think about ourselves, whereby we will be able to take the destiny of our economy in our own hands. We will not grow by importing. We can only grow by exporting. I hope you agree from that. If we find how can we produce? How can we produce export if it's not from our farms? Because it is either we industrialize the country, of which we are very far from industrial, because there are countries that are ahead of us, like China, like America, Germany, all these Russia, they are ahead of us in terms of industrialization. But if we innovate ourselves, starting from agriculture, you'll be able to catch up faster. And that is why our emphasis in agriculture. We can earn a lot from ecotourism, because that is an immediate and available source of income. And for us to be able to reach the industrialization level, then that is why we are supporting the education sector. Because our children, you'll find at least a country that you've been able to start production. Emphasis is on agriculture production and innovation, because it will first of all provide us with food security and provide us now again with raw materials that can be able to industrialize the country. That is why countries like China, we shall be able to push them to open us for us. As we buy their industrial product, they will be able to buy for us agricultural produce that are not just raw materials, but that are a final product. Social entrepreneurship empowers individuals to think independently and authoritatively, Because the moment you're able to embark on a project that you know how to add value on it, a project that you know where you are taking it, then definitely you are in charge of the economy. Look at our farmers today. Where it comes from, they are planting peas for export. But the moment the broker does not come to buy or fetch that produce for that day, that farmer just throws that produce away, despite the cost that he has incurred to produce. So that farmer is discouraged to produce next time. And therefore, that's a job that has been lost. Because the moment someone has stopped what he was doing, he has lost the job. We have added another burden to the economy. But the moment we're able to train our farmers, this product, this is the best way you can do to produce it as the market expects. For the market to be able to accept it, you need to add this value in this form. You need to take your product to this market that is ready to buy your product. You have created jobs. And that is why social entrepreneurship is something the government, all the leaders of the world should embrace to support the developing economies. Thank you. Sisi kama watu wa IGATI, no, still we are in Kenya, so Kiswahili is our national language, so I mix here and there. IGATI, we are trying to convince our people to embrace change. Because if we embrace change, and a change that comes from within, then definitely we'll be able to transform our country ourselves. How can we be able to adopt this change? We, as IGATI, have committed ourselves and devoted ourselves to our communities to impact you with what we have, our gifts and talents. And with the help of God, I know you'll be able to reach so many people. So we want to encourage you to turn out to our seminars, to our trainings in your villages, and when you normally have conferences like this, please turn up. Because this is where you'll be able to interact with us and learn more on social entrepreneur. Because at each and every day unfolds, as each day unfolds, we are getting new liberation. We are growing. We are getting different perspective on how we can be able to do social entrepreneurship better. And the project that we're embarking, we ask more citizens to join them because they're impactful. IGATI is an organization that attracts a lot of resources. But we don't want to attract resources in a manner that has been done before. Whereby we only expect donors to come and pump money in our communities, and at the end of the day, we have nothing to show for. For us to be able to show our goodwill to our sponsors, to donors, around the world there are people of goodwill who always support a good cause. But for us as people, we need to show that you're also ready to be helped. We are ready to change. Because there is no way, whenever I've been going to the communities, I have found that previous NGOs, and several of them, they have been giving farmers dairy goat. But that project is good as it was. You are given a dairy goat, and that was it. So you find there is no social impact that was expected. The cause that, or the impact that was expected from that kind of donation or initiative has not been achieved yet. So our people continue to languish. And there are several other projects that have headed that way. So to be able to avoid this mentality of just helping people without taking them anywhere, we support social entrepreneurship. And you people can be able to learn social entrepreneurship through training because it's a new concept completely. New concept that I don't think there's any community around Kenya has been able to adopt it. I'm asking the resident of Meru where we come from. Before we reach the rest of the country, we can be much far ahead by organizing ourselves and adopting social entrepreneurship. Upon adopting social entrepreneurship, we'll be the first recipient of donors who support communities that are organized in a manner that is clear. That if you support these people, they will surely come out of poverty. But you cannot come out of poverty through imagination. It is through a very clear path that has been defined. From production, as I said, to value addition, to the marketing stage. If you'll be able to do that, you assure our farmers that whatever endeavor they go or they embark, they'll be able to get something out of it. Because someone who is planting mint right now already has been assured a price of 200 shillings per kg. So as he does that calculation of the final product, then definitely. And as we have more farmers doing the mint farming, we are developing our pack house. We are doing all the necessary documentation to ensure this product gets into the national market at a good price. So the prices can continue. And the moment you're able to realize the prices are changing and the demand is going to grow, we're able to develop still models, other models that this community will continually adopt to change, just like the way normal entrepreneurs change. The way China was producing 10 years ago is not the way it is producing today. Each and every day they are developing new technology. You can see how much the phone that you are using. The phones that were there 5 years ago have been overtaken, isn't it? As our agriculture that we are doing today overtaken what we did 5 years ago? It hasn't. We still remain where we are that years ago in terms of producing our coffee, in terms of producing our tea, our bananas. Everything that we produce is outdated. It has been overtaken by time and event. How can we compete with the rest of the world when we are stuck with the same practices, economic practices that we have done by our fathers, and we are still doing them? There is no way you are going to develop our country by import. Neither there is no way we develop our people by taxing them, overtaxing them for that matter. We can only help our people by putting them into production. Our people should produce if you have to get different results this time around. Suppose you as an entrepreneur in town, a trader, just like you asked the question, how does these economic activities affect me that is having already existing business that is even profitable? I think most of the businesses I've interacted with in town and around the country, for the better part of the year 2023, there have been no crying. There have been no complaining about low businesses and during profit margins. What can improve your business when it's coming down? It is the status of the economy. And the status of the economy is determined by the productivity of its own people. So when you have 80% of your people idle, what's in the future of an idle man? So if 70% of our people are unemployed, it means 70% of our population is idle. So no matter the kind of business you do, when majority of you don't have income or they have very minimal disposable income, then definitely your business growing will be a challenge. Because the way society is, we depend on each other. So for someone who is learning a matatu business, he needs passengers traveling here and for, going to Nairobi to buy product or coming Nairobi to bring. We need each other. The petrol station attendant need a vehicle there so that it can be fueled. The owner of the petrol station need that person working there so that he can serve. The owner of the matatu need that car wash person. We are all interrelated. There is no way you can survive on alone. So you could be having a business that is doing very well there, and you say the rest of the people, mtu ajishughulikie. But as much it is a one man, every man for himself and God for us all, we come down to a society that is dependent of each other, whether you are doing well or not. As a IGATI, we come from different backgrounds whereby ourselves we have income. Personally, I have businesses that are not doing well. I've done all the marketing that I know of. I've created the best business models. But as much, I can't get to the level I want to get. Why? Because most of my customers now are complaining. There were times I used to supply to Nakumat. That time I used to supply to Chumi, Taskis. But these customers of mine have already closed down. So they affect me because when I was producing for them, they used to buy. They are no longer there. As much the other new entrants that have come, you have not built a relationship with them like the relationship I had before. So if one of the stakeholders is dead along the value chain, it affects you either way. So if your customer is unemployed or have a low income, it affects your business. When people have income, then every sector of the economy comes up. How can you be able to put these people, the 70%, into work? It's by innovation. And it's only entrepreneurship that innovates. We cannot innovate through politics. We cannot innovate through religion. Isn't it? We can innovate. How can we innovate? We can only innovate through entrepreneurship. So it's the solution. The challenges that you are facing. It is the time Kenya embraces social entrepreneurship. That is an idea whose time has come.
Burning question. You have talked about as IGATI Mission, we want to increase more exports than imports. So how will IGATI Mission be able to facilitate more exports? Like for farmers, we know that there are big markets in Europe for our products. So how will IGATI Mission be able to facilitate more exports without the farmers being exploited by middlemen?
IGATI advocate for social entrepreneurship. I'm taking you back to the same principle. Because an entrepreneur, when you teach people to become entrepreneur, they'll think about all the chain, the value chain of what they are doing. Initially, what you're doing right now, once you're able to focus on products that are meant for export, we'll be able to facilitate the farmers ourselves to acquire a pack house. We'll teach them how to do value addition. We'll teach them how to brand their product. We'll teach them how to handle their product to the airport. We'll be able to teach them how to open a shop at the auction market, at the international market. We'll teach them how to negotiate for the best prices with international brokers and be able to get value for what they produced. And I'm sure if you are able to succeed doing 1, 2, 3 projects, other communities will bless the same. It will be easy to pull one another. Our challenge right now remains to complete at least one project to value chain, to complete the entire value chain. But I know we will. We are determined as people. From my personal experiences, I've been able to transform the same. I've been able to buy raw materials and value. I'll be able to take the final product to the retailer. It can happen also in the communities. And with that, you'll be able to pay taxes to the government that are relevant taxes. So the national kitty will grow. Taxes will be paid. And people, the country will prosper. The more we focus on export, the more you create jobs. The more you create more foreign exchange for the country. The more we earn more taxes for the government. The more lives of the people improves. The more you eliminate the social evils that has been developed Kenya for a long time. You see why everybody is looking for a job and they are not job? Because they are not creators of the same. When you all look for jobs and you don't have creators of jobs, what will happen? I know people. I know country. That's my reasoning. To be able to overcome this, we need to train people to job creators. Through innovation, through creativity. Entrepreneurs are product of creativity and innovation. And that's why you're able to be able to create more jobs. So for entrepreneurs to thrive, we need to establish what you are calling an entrepreneurial society. Like China, that's why they are ahead like that. They are entrepreneur in nature, all of them, from the producers to the sellers, all the way to the market, all of them. They are entrepreneur in each and every field. Believe me, in every value chain, in every step of the value chain, we are creating entrepreneurs. In every value chain, every step, we are creating entrepreneurs. And if your country produces entrepreneurs and they succeed, what is the result of that? That's what I was telling you, in few years' time, you'll be importing labor. Because all these people are saying they are not jobs. I've had President Ruto say that without taxing the housing levy, in order to be able to create the 5 million jobs he created, I want to tell him that is not the way to go. We can only develop the country through production. Entrepreneurs are the people who can save this country. Entrepreneurs are the people who can save this country. Take that one to the bank. No other people. For us to be able to move to the next phase of our socio-economic transformation, IGATI Mission will show the way. We are God-led and we are determined people. And I know our God will help us. Thank you. Suppose you as an entrepreneur in town, a trader, just like you asked the question, how does these economic activities affect me that is having already existing business that is even profitable? I think most of the businesses I've interacted with in town and around the country, for the better part of the year 2023, there have been no crying. There have been no complaining about low businesses and during profit margins. What can improve your business when it's coming down? It is the status of the economy. And the status of the economy is determined by the productivity of its own people. So when you have 80% of your people idle, what's in the future of an idle man? So if 70% of our people are unemployed, it means 70% of our population is idle. So no matter the kind of business you do, when majority of you don't have income or they have very minimal disposable income, then definitely your business growing will be a challenge. Because the way society is, we depend on each other. So for someone who is learning a matatu business, he needs passengers traveling here and for, going to Nairobi to buy product or coming Nairobi to bring. We need each other. The petrol station attendant need a vehicle there so that it can be fueled. The owner of the petrol station needs that person working there so that he can serve. The owner of the matatu needs that car wash person. We are all interrelated. There is no way you can survive on alone. So you could be having a business that is doing very well there, and you say the rest of the people, mtu ajishughulikie. But as much it is a one man, every man for himself and God for us, so we come down to a society that is dependent of each other, whether you're doing well or not. As a IGATI, we come from different backgrounds whereby ourselves we have income. Personally, I have businesses that are not doing well. I've done all the marketing that I know of. I've created the best business models. But as much, I can't get to the level I want to get. Why? Because most of my customers now are complaining. There were times I used to supply to Nakumat. There were times I used to supply to Chumi, Taskis. But these customers of mine have already closed down. So they affect me because when I was producing for them, they used to buy. They are no longer there. As much the other new entrants that have come, you have not built a relationship with them like the relationship I had before. So if one of the stakeholders is dead along the value chain, it affects you either way. So if your customer is unemployed or have a low income, it affects your business. When people have income, then every sector of the economy comes up. how can you be able to put these people, the 70%, into work? It's by innovation. And it's only entrepreneurship that innovates. We cannot innovate through politics. We cannot innovate through religion. Isn't it? We can innovate. How can we innovate? We can only innovate through entrepreneurship. So it's the solution. The challenges that you are facing. It is the time Kenya embraces social entrepreneurship. That is an idea whose time has come.
So I was asking, how does the government, our current government, both local and county government, how do they perceive social entrepreneurship? Because it is a new concept. And what policies have been set in place to be able to support social entrepreneurship?
Thanks so much for that beautiful question. For us to be able to develop this model we are calling social entrepreneurship, actually, the people provoked this, our politician. When Kenya Kwanza government was campaigning, they talked about bottom-up. And personally, I felt that bottom-up is the way to go. And I was asking myself, how can we best suit the bottom-up? Out of the research, and out of the experiences that we have, and the knowledge. Social entrepreneurship equals bottom-up. But the way they're implementing their bottom-up, then it will not have the impact expected when they campaigned. And therefore, we have introduced an idea called social entrepreneurship, anchored on the pillars that we have discussed. If the government, either county or the national government, adopt social entrepreneurship, the economy of the country can recover within the next 3, 4, 5 years. Not only that it will recover, Kenya will be becoming a shining star in Africa within the next 10 years. Will be a source of, actually, we will be importing labor. Because the kind of production, value addition, and marketing that we'll be running as a country, then it will be phenomenal. I believe social entrepreneurship can transform lives for people quickly because it unifies the people to belong to one. If I have to take you back to what we said, that social entrepreneurship is anchored on the spirituality. So that understanding alone give a man, and for that matter a woman, give him a common ground that we are all children of God. And since you are children of God, and you are followers of Christ and the doers of the same, of his word and his teaching, which teaches us to love one another, support one another, forgive one another, that brings our community together. And from experiences and knowledge, you agree with me that this, when people come together, they can do much more. Unity is strength. There is nothing impossible for people who come together. Actually, the common good, they always overcome. So, social entrepreneurship is anchored from the hearts of human beings. And when they are trained from that perspective, they'll be able to stop corruption. Because corruption is evil. And this is what has brought here to our knees as Africans. Corruption has become a lifestyle. Good Christians don't practice corruption. That will be one of the strengths of social entrepreneurship. They will be able to condemn among themselves who brings them back or backwardness through corruption. They will be able to shy off and shun him from his communities, from leadership, from everywhere. Because social entrepreneurship is people-driven. And they are not driven because a leader has told them to do. No. Social entrepreneurship involves where the people themselves decided to come together because of the challenges they face as a community, not as an individual. At no time you stop having individual challenges. And each individual will carry his own cross. But there are those challenges that we cannot be able to handle as individuals. These challenges are communal. and they will require a communal approach. People have to come together. For social entrepreneurship, they have to anchor themselves on the 3 key areas I told you about. And one of the areas is spirituality. Spirituality enables a human being to become and unlock his full potential. Then he said, and work at the intellectual capacity. So these people are bright. They reason together. So the idea of that person and the other person and the other person, when they combine together, they'll come up with a brilliant idea and ways that they can be able to implement that idea from themselves. Those are the pillars of social entrepreneurship. For us, we are advocating social entrepreneurship. That's what we say. Social entrepreneurship, what is going to produce what we are calling homegrown entrepreneurs. Thank you. Lack of job, our country has become unbearable to live. It is true. To a large extent, that is true. That you can be able to say our country has not given us what we expected. After going through the education system, after all the training, you end up a miserable job seeker. Let me tell you the problem we're having. It's not that Kenya is jobless. We have opportunities that can employ all of us, and we can even become importers of labor. That's my stand. But without a creative mind, that is the mind of God who is a creator, then we will continue looking for jobs that are not forthcoming, and we become a wasted generation. Our youth may complain about this or that, but I've never seen any man or woman, for that matter, reach anywhere with excuses and complaints. A man takes responsibility of the situation that he is. You can't run away from your problems. You face them. Social entrepreneurship brings us together as community. Whether you are old, you are youth, or wherever you are, social entrepreneurship is the way. Why am I insisting on social entrepreneurship? Our youth. Our youth. Our youth. I want them to encourage them to come together with clean and open hearts. Let them listen together. Let us focus to doing anything they will set their mind on, and they will see they will succeed. If they are not going to wait for anyone to do it for them, they take their future into their own hands. No matter the situation they are. At IGATI, we are there to mentor them, to show them the way and how to be able to arrive to that. Let them not ask for resources. For personally, I believe, as an entrepreneur, when God creates someone and bring him to this earth, he's equipped to dominate the earth. When God created man in the Garden of Eve, he gave the dominion over the earth. So nobody has an excuse of not dominating the earth. It requires you possessing the right mentality. So nobody should be saying there is no job in this country. Jobs are there. There are so many. But with a long mindset, you will not be able to see those jobs. Thank you. For the last 24 years, I've been doing entrepreneurship. Actually, I began entrepreneurship at the age of 19 years. And what made me start entrepreneurship? It is when I realized with my potential and how I feel I need to contribute myself to the world. I felt I don't need to be employed as there are so many opportunity. So upon finishing my Form 4, I was able to set a roadside kiosk, have a bottle of the same. And I wrote in that kiosk, Snowline food market. Years in creativity and innovation. So it tells me, and I was a small child at the age of 19, I used to know I need to be creative and innovative. For you to be able to understand these things, visit IGATImission.com. My story is there. You'll be able to see where I began my journey, how it went through. Because once that day I load Snowline Food Market, I've never stopped until today. I've created and innovated so many businesses that are original because they were coming from me. I was not copying from anybody. And along the way of creating these jobs, of creating these ventures, I've employed more than 3,000 people. I've lost count of the people I've ever employed those years that I was with Snowline and Black Django. So, if I was able to create a job for myself, not even for anyone else, if all these years I've been able to employ myself, then I felt that need and desire to help someone else employ himself. For I am a Christian who believe in the teaching of Jesus Christ. Matthew 5:13, Jesus teaches us that we are the salt of the earth. Egati means, in Kimeru, salt. Egati was used by Wameru people in the ancient times as salt, before the iodized salt that we are using today came to be. So Egati is salt of the earth. Christ teaches us when salt will lack the taste, it will be thrown away and be casted. As a person who has the light of Christ in my life, I don't desire to be thrown away and casted. I want to be the salt of the earth, that when you come and taste, you feel the sweetness of Christ in me. I don't have any other talent. I'm not a politician. I'm not a preacher. But at the end of the day, I'm an entrepreneur. Other than being just an entrepreneur, I have decided to become a social entrepreneur. And that's why I'm the lead missioner for IGATI Mission. Thank you. As you have said, IGATI is a salt of the earth. What does salt does to the food? It can taste. And therefore, as much we are bringing a new idea of social entrepreneurship as IGATI, it is not completely new to us. Because people have been doing businesses. People have been doing for quite a number of years. Why it concerns IGATI at the pace our country is developing, it's how we are being overtaken by events. We could be doing dairy farming in Kenya. Yes, we have a very thriving dairy sector in this country. But how much has it been impactful to our communities? How much? How much? Because every sector, for economy to flourish or to thrive, the sectors that we depend on must be dependable. They must be dependable. And from a perspective of an entrepreneur, if I was doing a dairy farming, I will not only look at the price of the milk, I will look at the cost of production. Because as we stand today, nobody has done for us a research and shown us how much does it cost in Kenya to produce a liter of milk and how much a farmer gets, so that he can be assured of continuous production of the same. Sir, that is where social entrepreneurship differentiates what you have been doing and what you want people to embrace. Thank you. Come down over the years and become a produce that does not have much value benefit to our society. I don't blame the coffee sector itself. Neither do I even blame the leadership. I blame ourselves as citizens. Our own approach as community. Have we sat down as people any day and asked ourselves, how can we be able to benefit from coffee farming? Other than what the coffee leaders are telling us, other than what the government is telling us about the coffee. I want to tell you the problem we face today. It is not because of one sector or another or another. The problem we face today as a country and as a people is our mindset. We have a mindset whereby we expect the government to do so much and God to do so much. But us as citizens do almost little or nothing at all about anything that concerns us economically. Because if we have been doing, ask ourselves as community, how much have we innovated since independence? How much? So the brain game is not about the government. It's not about our leaders. The brain game of where we are as a nation is us, the people. We have failed ourselves. Finally, as much tunataka kudefine IGATI. IGATI is a Khmer word for ancient salt. But we have given it a meaning to mean salt of the heart. Tasteful. Tasteful. And why are we tasteful? Because we believe we possess what the world has been waiting. Social entrepreneurship. And I've been able to explain social entrepreneurship as organizing communities to come together for a common goal of economic gain. So, IGATI, we are not taking at the real ancient salt, but as a meaning. It's a meaning of something tasteful. Social entrepreneurship. Because I don't think Kenya has ever practiced social entrepreneurship. All we have done is adopt the coffee sector. If you look at the way tea has been managed, when the farmer is speaking, is tea. When the farmer is buying the fertilizer, when the farmer is picking the tea picker who does that job at the farm, is not sure how much you sell is, you get from his tea per kilo. True or not? He just has to wait for KTDA to announce the price of the product that he took the factory many months ago. But as a businessman, when you buy something for your shop, do you know how much you are going to buy the buying price? You know the cost, and you even know the selling price. Why doesn't a farmer know that? Why don't our farmers who plant bananas know the price of banana before they start planting it? And that price is assured. Why don't our farmers get assurance of the avocado price? And that's what we produce. Yet, when a product leaves from China, you know the price that it has to leave the country. But here, you don't know the price of sugarcane until you are paid. Not until you sell. Until you are. When you plant peas, when you plant anything, potatoes, you are not sure of that. Even maize, you don't know the price. We're just doing the guesswork. Tell me a trader who does guesswork with his commodity and succeeds. So how are we expecting our farmers, who are the engine of production, to flourish or to thrive for the next production, for the next season, if whatever they are planting today is not assured of the price? So social entrepreneurship assures that. Because before any community embark on any project, they have done a thorough research about it, and they know their buyer. So any activity, any economic activity that is embarked by a community is assured of good returns at the end of the day. And that is why social entrepreneurship focuses production, value addition, all the way to marketing. If you're able to do that, assure our farmers and our major producers at the small scale level they organize themselves, they produce largely for particular markets, then many people will come with all their efforts, all their energy to produce for their country. That is how we'll be able to lift Kenya from where it is right now. Thank you.